So for more, it's a pleasure to welcome to studio Ali Waked, head of the I24 News International channel. Still with us, retired Colonel Dr. Jacques Neriah and senior correspondent Owen Alterman. So Ali, Marwan Barghouti has Israeli blood on his hands. Realistically, we hear the petition from celebrities. How would a move like this go down in Israeli society?
Well, in the Israeli society, I believe that most and the very big majority of the Israelis will be against such a move to release Marwan Barghouti. But I know that in the Israeli camp, there are voices that, yes, understand that Marwan Barghouti is maybe the only Palestinian leader that enjoys the popular and revolutionary legitimacy to go through an agreement with the Israelis. We tend to remember Marwan Barghouti only post-2000, the years where he led the intifada and he was maybe responsible for the killing of Israelis. But I personally participated with meetings of Israeli youth and Palestinian youth, Israeli journalists with Palestinian journalists, who were led always by Marwan Barghouti at the period before the Intifada. Marwan Barghouti, the tragedy of Marwan Barghouti, that he was really a person who believed in peace, but very quickly when the Palestinians went into the Intifada, he was one of the leaders of the Intifada. Marwan Barghouti, people don't know, he was already considered as a threat to Arafat. Arafat, at the time of the late 90s, appointed the number 2 of Abu Mazen right now, Hussein al-Sheikh, as the Secretary General of Fatah in the West Bank after Marwan Barghouti was democratically elected in the institutions of Fatah. And some of the reasons that Marwan Barghouti is not released right now is because, yes, some elements in the Palestinian leadership made everything in order to prevent his liberation as part of the Shalit deal more than a decade ago, and as part of the deals between Hamas and Israel in the last year.
Jacques, I want to bring you in because during the 2-year war, whenever there was a discussion about hostages being freed in exchange for Palestinian security prisoners, Marwan Barghouti's name was dismissed by Israel. Your sense?
It's not only the Marwan Barghouti, there are other names, who have blood on their hands. The problem, as Ali says, is the Israeli public is not ready yet to the fact to release Marwan Barghouti, even though, as Ali says, he is the potential leader, the next potential leader of the Palestinians. And maybe because of that reason, that he won't be released. The fact is that he can rally around him, not only Hamas people, but Fatah and other factions, and be the leader, the real leader of the Palestinians, bring them to statehood. This is something that can be very threatening to those in Israel who do not believe in the path towards a Palestinian state. So this is one of the reasons why during the negotiations on the hostage deal, on the release of the dead hostages also, names they were just brought up, but not a single one was finally adopted and accepted. And certainly Marwan Barghouti would be the last of them.
Benita, Barghouti enjoys the fact that while his colleagues in the Palestinian leadership accumulated their wealth and he was not polluted in any corruption case, and while they became millionaires, some maybe billionaires, he spent 2 decades, more than 2 decades, in Israeli jails because of struggling for the Palestinian people. Now, one can argue about, was it the correct way to struggle for the Palestinian people? But Marwan Barghouti always said, I was a soldier in the peace war when some Palestinians were against the Oslo Agreement. And I was a soldier in the war when the Intifada exploded, was launched. And I think if we see all surveys, all polls within the Palestinian society, consistently, he is the one who leads every polls, and the only one in the secular national camp who can beat any Hamas rival. So, and I believe that within the Palestinian, especially the current Palestinian leadership, there are many who will not like to see him outside the jail. But also, as Dr. Jacques said, in Israel, those who are afraid of eventually a Palestinian state, prefer to see him still in jail because of the possibility that he is the only one to unite conservative and secular Palestinians, Islamic and nationalist Palestinian, but also geographically Gaza and the West Bank.
Well, just one more very quick comment. I think the opposition to Barghouti, it is include, of course, the Israeli right, but I think it also goes well into the center, simply for the reason that I think the average Israeli would have a hard time trusting Barghouti. It's all well and good he had that record in the 1990s, but there is the record of the second intifada that I think people are going to have a hard time ignoring. And if, in fact, there is a policy goal of releasing him, the big challenge is going to be how to get your average centrist Israeli to trust that Barghouti's release will do Israel well and not do Israel harm.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Ali Waked, always a pleasure hearing your insights here in studio.